In today's video, I just wanted to go back over something that we kind of glossed over a long time ago in the videos. Now, the third video, I believe, that I had made covering the USS Fitzgerald, I had made on the 20th, and it is by far and away the most viewed video that the channel has. It's over 450,000 views. Just to give you an idea, the average view total for any one video is about 15,000. And in that video, I had made the statement that when you are investigating something like this, the closer to the time of the event that you can get to the people involved, the more likely you are going to get the truth of the matter. It is only after time goes by and these people involved have the ability to think about things and change stories and kind of color it and skew it to make themselves look better that things get a little sideways. So this was reminded me of by the moderator of the channel, Philip. He had made the allegation in one comment section about the path of the destroyer being perpendicular, and I had remembered this article saying that they were sailing in the same direction, or at least that was the allegation at the time of Ronald Advincula, the captain of the cargo ship. And so this, I think, got glossed over because we were attempting to play devil's advocate and say, well, the ship is 500 feet long, and 500 feet long at 2 miles away is a very tiny target. You would have to try to hit it. And that's where I think people got the idea, well, if it's, presenting a perpendicular target, was she sailing across her path? Well, this wasn't the case. And literally after stepping right off the ship, this is what the guy said. He had heard, and this is from the South China Morning Post, and this is, as you can see, 18 June, the day after this, had said, the broadcaster, NHK, said the ACX Crystal had made a sharp turn. But down here in this article, when the captain heard this, he challenged it. He said, we were sailing in the same direction as the U.S. destroyer was and then collided. Okay, and that was a quote from him. Now, then, later in his statement to Dainichi, this is what he said. He changes it completely. The Fitzgerald was on a crossing course. They tried to signal. Fitzgerald didn't respond. And here's the most damning thing. The Crystal steered hard to starboard to avoid collision. Crystal struck the Fitzgerald 10 minutes after taking this evasive action. Time of impact was 01:30. And there was confusion on the Crystal's bridge after the collision. Now, a long time ago, I had tried to put all this together and wondered how the Fitz could have possibly not been able to get out of the way. With the lack of communications, everybody thought, well, maybe she was dead in the water from the EMP and just was sitting there. Even if she was just sitting there, you'd still have to have collusion aboard the Crystal. They would have to literally be trying to hit her. And given that they are at least stating here they tried to avoid her and had 10 minutes to do so and still hit her, I had thought, well, what if there had been a boarding party aboard the Fitzgerald and they literally steered the Fitz in front of the Crystal, trying to be hit by it? It never dawned on me that maybe the Crystal was the one that had the boarding party. And this is why I kind of think that now. Now, the idea that anybody, the captain of the Fitz, wouldn't be on the bridge with this many ships in this close of an area is beyond anything I can imagine. Also, that the ACX Crystal would be on autopilot here is ridiculous. There's 40 ships in here, and to give you an idea of the distance, we covered this before. This little white dot right here represents 1/8 of a mile. Excuse me, 1/4 mile. The ships themselves are 1/8 of a mile long. So that's how crowded an area this is. Now, we've covered this thing with a Wan Hai, but follow with me here. There's another ship that we haven't covered before that I want to ask you guys about. So we're going to play this forward at 2x. And everybody's familiar with the Wan Hai. It's a ship out of Singapore. And it's running parallel. Now, what if there was a crew, pirate crew, that came from this ship to this ship? Because remember here, you're only talking about a mile, not even 1.75 we've covered. We did that, I think it was 4 videos ago, we covered the distances. And this is how close they are. And this ship makes this turn. Now, remember, the captain of the Crystal said they were running parallel in the same direction as the Fitz. Now think about this. Let's say this pirate crew gets aboard. And back here, what Captain Avincula said was true. Then they get taken over. And the crew, captain and everything, are put below decks. Now they can't see. All they can do is hear. So then we play forward. Now the crystal is under the control of a pirate crew or Muslim terrorists or something. And they go, at this point, 1:30, even tied up below decks, the crew of the crystal would have heard the collision and understood the timing of it. So then, now, this is why they race away from the scene, the pirates. Now, here's the kicker. See this ship, the Maquis bridge? Had been set in here the whole time, not moving, but her transponder was on. Okay, probably to be seen, for one reason or another. The ACX crystal comes within this distance. What if these pirates at this point bail? Cut loose captain, say, you know, thanks for your help, sure appreciate it, bye. And they jump and get on the Maquis bridge. Watch what happens with the Maquis bridge. Bloop. Off goes her transponder. Out in the middle of this big, huge shipping area where all these ships are flying through, including the Kiso, we've covered that for, and it goes dark. For no reason whatsoever. Now, the crew of the ACX Crystal, the actual crew, is back in charge. Okay, it is now, at this point, 1703 relates to 2:03. 2 o'clock. They know they hit something, and they know the track they were on, and they know how far back it was. So, they decide to take control of their ship and head back, generally speaking, on the course that they were on. They are probably incredibly confused and dazed, don't know what's going on, don't even know what they've hit at this point, because they weren't in control of the ship at the time. They make the phone call that they've hit something, realize that it's been a U.S. Navy ship. They realize that they have just been now party to an attack on a U.S. warship. Probably trying to figure out what to do, who to call. This guy's probably worried about now losing his captaincy. Doesn't know what's going on. I know I'm making the allegation here that maybe he wasn't involved, only in the sense that he was just the guy there at the time. And, you know, maybe he was. But it would explain the difference in his statements, and it would make them jive. You know, at this point they realize, you know, this is the only point here where I can say that they probably really were stopped looking for something. But here's the other part too. Most of the ships were attempting to miss this island to go up through here, to go up to Tokyo. Why does the Crystal head way out here, past this island? So it is a very, very strange thing, and I know that's a theory, but it's a different one that actually explains more the behavior of the cargo captain. Because up until this point, everybody on the other side from him has said it's not his fault. Why would he lie? You know, even the mainstream media and the Navy and everybody's saying, oh, it's our fault, it's our fault. Why would this guy lie? Why would he have lied the first time? Why would he have changed the story? If he's telling the truth, why would he change it to a lie? If he was, why did he lie the first time and expect us to believe it to be the truth the second time, whichever one it was? That doesn't make any sense. Because I'm sure at this point, being a captain, he understands, you know, the stand-on vessel, who was who, you know, that he, you know, attempting to avoid the collision, he would have had no reason to cook up any story or change anything he said. So, last thing we're going to do in this video is real quickly on the damage. And this is the one thing nobody has ever given me a good answer on. You know, you see all of this damage from the stem here and all of this gray stuff on the side, and we've talked about this, you know, bulbous bow issue to the point of nauseum. But this rail being completely bent over almost 90 degrees, can you show me where on this damage What was high enough on this ship to bend that rail over? I mean, I get all this with the damage on the side and the stem. What here could have bent that stem over so hard? Completely bent it over the top of that ship. This vessel was way higher in the water, when you look at this, than the Fitz was. There's just, that railing would have been way the hell up here. There would have been nothing that could have damaged that rail. And when you look at this and you talk about the damage below that we've alleged is not relevant to this damage that happened 2 different times, you know, the offset, it doesn't make sense for either story, whether he was running parallel or running perpendicular. The only thing that happened is he was, you know, going at him, you know, running nose to nose. And then that would bring up a whole nother set of arguments. But anyway, I just wanted to cover this article from way back, day 1, when the skipper said he was running parallel. And as far as everything else that's going on with the Osprey and the tanker and the sailors going missing, clearly there is an issue, in a much bigger issue, in the 7th Fleet. I don't know if it's leadership, I don't know if it's training, I don't know if we're at war and we don't know we're at war, but the silence from the Navy is the most damning thing so far. And to be truthful about this issue with the channel covering this, it has to do 99.995% with that press conference. There was no press conference 2 days after the Cole or 2 days after the Porter. There was no need for one, and at that point the Navy wasn't even in command of the facts. They thought it happened at 2:20. They did not have enough information. They hadn't even had a chance to debrief the crew. Nothing. There's no way they could have made a determination between attack or accident at that point. Not that close. And if they can't make that determination, you don't go talk to reporters. Unless something has happened that you don't want people to know about and you need to construct a narrative to point them down another road. And that is exactly what that admiral was doing. You know, the channel's never made any kind of allegation that I'm some kind of a savant or we have access to classified information. We've just looked at what's out there, what's been said, and we've put it up next to the bright light of common sense and seen that it just doesn't jive. So anyway, I will let you guys go. Thank you so much, everyone. The channel is doing great. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thank you.